Yo, what's up? Man, I don't even know what to say about this game tonight. It was nerve wracking. It was pretty much I don't know what to say, but wow, the Sixers really they pulled it out, and I was surprised that Joe Embiid wasn't playing. I really thought he was going to play, but he must really be hurt for him not to play. When it came out that he wasn't going to play, I didn't know what to think. I was just hoping the game was going to be close. I didn't want to see a blowout. I mean, that's one thing I didn't want to see. I don't know if I've been able to take a blowout. And I have to say, when the team started, the defense was just non-existent. Boston was pretty much having their way, and you get to see how important Joel Embiid is for that defense, because the Sixers don't have players that can play man up one on one with a person. Because as you notice, Boston was getting to the hole, and they were getting to a hole consistently at a good clip. It was at one point they were shooting 70%, and there is no way that you can handle a team when they're shooting 70%. It's no way. With that said, the Sixers were shooting 55%. That's the part that really made me really pay attention to this game. For as good as the Celtics was playing the first half, Jalen Brown was hot. Tatum was hot. Tatum was unconscious. And the way they were just driving to the lane at will. And it pretty much was doing what I was expecting them to do. They were sitting, they was driving, they were kicking to the open man to shoot the three, but they was really getting to they were getting to the lane at will. And you see the difference of Joel and B not being there and not having a rim protector. Paul Reed struggled the first half. He really struggled. So with all of that though, they were only down 3 points. And it was something that Shaq sat there and said, "Fuck around and find out." And Charles was saying, the Celtics, to be shooting at 70% and you're only up three, you should be up 20. And that just goes to show how the Celtics defense wasn't really in this game. And what I've been saying all the time, yes, the Sixers were down 3-1 in the season with the Celtics, but outside of like the first game where they got blown out, the game's been close. The game's been really close. One game at the last minute, Tatum had to shoot a three to win the game, and then Joe had made the three, but it was after the clock. So I want to get into the game and really start talking about the game and breaking down the game. This was James Harden. This was all James Harden. This was this is the closest you're going to get to Houston James Harden. He was controlling the game. He was getting to the lane. He was making his layups. He was doing his mid-range. That's the one thing I have to say that I would like to see him do more of, is that mid-range shot. He's not going to have it where he's going to be able to get to the lane all the time to score. You also get to see how strong he was in this game. Because at one point they posted him up, and I really liked that when they did that, when they posted him up and put him on the block. Because when he was going to the lane, the refs weren't calling fouls for James Harden. It's funny with James Harden. Earlier in his career, when the refs were just calling everything, and then the league and players started to complain and everything, they went a complete 180. Now they really won't call anything for James. So James really have to work for his fouls, and that's fine. Maxi, Maxi really struggled. He shot like 8 for 20, no, 9 for 24, 9 for 21 or 9 for 24, somewhere around there. But I like the fact that he was aggressive. No, I'm sorry, Maxi was 10 for 24. I like the fact that he was aggressive and he kept shooting the ball. Because the Celtics is one of the teams that really gives some problems because of the length that they had. And it was very important for him to sit and really get going the second half. If he wouldn't got going in the second half, the game wouldn't have been as close. James wasn't going to be able to continue carrying carrying through the whole game. You need moments where somebody else sit there and really come into play. In the third quarter, Maxey and Paul Reed came to play. Paul Reed had a better second half. He ended with 10 points and 13 rebounds, and those 13 rebounds were important. 4 offensive, 9 defensive. That that helped. And those four big free throws at the end of the game really helped ice it. The defense played a lot better. One thing that Doc did do that I really liked, he went to zone because they can't play man. They don't have the personnel to be able to sit there and play man. When Boston was able to switch and drive through the lane, it gave them fits. Once they went to zone, just like in the Brooklyn series, once they went to zone, it gave Boston some problems where they weren't able to just roam and freelance and just have their way getting into the paint. It made them more of a perimeter team, and I'll take my chances with them shooting threes than them just driving to the lane, just getting twos. The bench. The bench really consists of Melton. Melton was 6 or 10 for 17 points, and in the second quarter he really came through when it hit a lull where the team needed those points to be able to stay close to get to the halftime at 3. The Sixers really got a lot of contributions from Daniels, Niang, and Melton. All the scoring came from Melton. They got good minutes on defense, but I just have to say this all boils down to James Harden. This boils down to James Harden just pulling everything out. The midi, the floaters, going to the lane for layups, step back three. It was at one point, I think it was the last three to seal the game against Horford was just vintage Houston James Harden, where he just tap, 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 pulled up, three, and that pretty much sealed the game. If James Harden plays like this for the rest of the series, or give one or two performances close to this, I can see the Sixers pulling this off. I don't see Joe playing a game 2. They're going to now sit and buy their time. The Sixers have home field advantage. Let Joe sit. Take your chances to see if you can pull out another win in Boston. That'll be fine. If you can't, that's fine too. You just let Joe sit, let him rest, and just pretty much hope. Well, just let him rest and just wait until you get home, so he have all that rest off his feet and give him some time to heal up. It's just when Joe gets back, it's going to be difficult because he's coming from a situation where he hasn't played. Now he has to get his conditioning back up. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be tired and everything. So we're going to see how this goes. I'm very excited that the Sixers won this game. They have home field advantage. It buys time for Joe to get some rest. Boston, they're a good team. They're lackadaisical. Jaylen Brown in the rest of the game only had, I think, 3 or 4 shots. There's no way Jaylen Brown is just going to have 3 shots for the rest of the series. In Boston, on the offense, they played well. Jaylen Brown had 23. Marcus Smart had 12. Horford had 11. Tatum had 39. And Brogdon had 20. And it's pretty much what I sat there and thought what was going to happen. The Sixers starting 5 canceled out the Celtics starting 5, and it came down to the bench. And it came down to Brogdon, and it came down to Melton. Brogdon is just, God, he's such a good point guard. I'm excited. I'm very excited, and I'm very surprised, and I'm happy the way this turned out. Now we just go on to game 2. We'll just see how this goes. I'm pretty sure the Celtics are going to make some adjustments. Doc is going to make some adjustments. I need the Sixers to stay aggressive. I need Maxey, Tobias, Melton. They have to stay aggressive in terms of shooting the ball. One thing I would have hoped at some point, just to get some more speed out there, if they'd have put Daniel House out there, but they didn't. So, I mean, that's fine. They won the game, so I'm not even going to sit and worry about that too much. Maxey have to stay out of foul trouble. It's very important that he stays out of foul trouble. He was lucky this game. The next game, or later down the line, he's going to have to play better in terms of getting staying out of foul trouble. Now, one thing I did notice, Boston was really looking for him for matchups to exploit. And that's something that he has to be aware of. And that's something he has to be cognizant of. And I would hope that Doc would think about, he's probably going to think about incorporating the zone a little more. They can't stay man all the time. They don't have the personnel just to go man up all the time. Ooh, I'm excited, and I was curious about this game, how this game was going to go. I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm happy. Now it's off to game 2. I doubt Joe play. If you like what you hear, subscribe, click that button. I'll see y'all in game 2. I'm out.